All right, all right, all right. I was a little bit late. We are already starting. There we go, guys. Amazing. Welcome everyone that's watching us today, and we're back to. Damn, Jess, we didn't do it. We didn't find a nice name for this. Shit.
Yeah, we still need to brainstorm about
It's
it. But
still the Reform Designated Market Making Project Introduction Broadcast,
yeah,
episode number 3 today, guys. Welcome everyone. Yeah, so obviously we still need to find a fancy name for what we're doing here, but it's pretty simple. What we do is we invite projects where we as Reform are responsible for the market making to join us on the stage and basically tell us about who they are and what they do, and basically introduce our community and the people following Reform to the projects. And then hopefully they become as bullish as we are on all the projects that we work with. Yeah, we had 2 successful weeks so far. We started this off with a media mogul, Hello Labs. They're responsible for the Killer Whale show. We were followed up in the second week with game developer Bloodlab. Super interesting conversation there as well. Today we're going to look into something else, namely something AI related, I would say, but you're going to hear all about that in a bit. For people that are watching and don't know it yet, my name is Paul. I'm the host of these broadcasts and also a core contributor at Reform. But besides me, I am joined as always by my friend and colleague and core contributor of Reform, Mr. Jess. Hello, Jess. How are you today?
good, sir. All good and well. Busy building as always, maintaining like everything on the Reform side, and progressing things ahead. Managing the overall market making projects together with the trading team. So yeah, well, that's what we'll also get into with the TokenMetrics. So yeah, eager to discuss more.
Absolutely. And indeed, as Jess already mentioned, we are joined today by not one, but even 2 people, namely Roshan and Aush. And apologies if I pronounce that wrong. Names are always being on my bad side. But the guys are from the TokenMetrics team. So, guys, before we dive all into TokenMetrics, I would love to know a little bit more about who we have on the podcast with us today. And maybe, Roshan, you can quickly start, like, maybe give us a bit of a background on who you are and what your journey has been before TokenMetrics. So basically what you have done before, where you got into Web3, and then, yeah, we'll go to Aush for the same story, of course. But yeah, Roshan, curious to know more.
Sure. Thanks, Paul. So hi, guys. My name is Roshan. I am the marketing lead at TokenMetrics right now. So a bit of a backstory on how I kind of got into crypto in the first place would be, I think it started kind of during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, when I was kind of stuck at home. I was still in college at the time, and I was kind of looking out at what was kind of popping up in the internet. And at that time, it was kind of the start of the 2021 bull run. So then I was introduced a bit into, okay, Bitcoin, stuff like this. I went deeper into it, and I kind of realized that, this is something really interesting. That tech is not like something I've heard on an everyday news. And then I started making content on TikTok. It was initially just for fun. I just started making content because I was like, you know what, I could just share whatever I'm learning along the way, kind of like keep record of it. And to my surprise, it worked out. I managed to do some pretty good videos, and then managed to partner up as a KOL with Binance, Hobby, Maxi, and a few other exchanges. And from there, I kind of continued making videos on TikTok mainly, and then a bit of YouTube and a bit of Telegram here and there. So it started off like that, and then sooner or later, I started working with a local crypto startup. And that was kind of my first-hand experience of working with a crypto project, not just making videos on the sideline, but actually being involved with project. And sooner or later, I kind of ventured into now, of course, TokenMetrics. So at TokenMetrics, I'm kind of in charge of the overall marketing side in terms of the social media platforms, looking at how we can grow, how we can reach more people, and basically spread the word about TMAI. But yeah, that's quick intro from my end.
Yeah, nice. It's always interesting to hear how people get involved with the industry, right? I think a lot of stories come down to the same backing, but yeah, it's good to hear that. And Aush, what about you? Is it a similar story or very different?
Yeah, almost along the same lines. But kudos to you, Paul. You did great on the names at the beginning. That was spot on 100%. And yeah, similar to Roshan, I started my journey back in 2019 as well. I was in college, and that was my first encounter with Bitcoin. So early 2020, I just started to learn about how blockchain actually works. And 3 months into learning, I was like, this is the industry I want to work in. I worked with via internships with several projects. Then once I graduated back in 2022, I joined TokenMetrics as a full-time. My role at TokenMetrics is basically my designation is as of a blockchain engineer. What I do is I help in product development by writing smart contracts for our Web3 products. I'm also involved in our research, which we post on our research platform. At the same time, I also participate in our product roadmap and development of what are the new products that we think of launching in the future, and everything about how to take that vision into reality.
Nice, great,
Yeah,
and of course, yeah. What sorry to
go. All floor is yours.
No, and of course, very interesting to hear. I think, yeah, you guys, of course, unfortunately, Ian could not join today as the CEO and founder. But also, yeah, just curious to hear, since he's, of course, yeah, a pretty, renowned person in the space for already, yeah, I think since 2017. I've been in the space since 2017, and I actually saw him back then. So maybe he's even earlier, I don't actually know. But yeah, actually also curious to hear from your guys' side, like, how is that, how you actually, when you started with TokenMetrics, how your relationship with Ian, and then, yeah, just how that's naturally progressing.
Yep. Sure. So Ian was itself who was like my hiring manager interview. So that was my first encounter with him face to face, and it was a great experience, to be honest. Like a man coming from such a great background and having such an experience, because in comparison, if we see 2022 was also, you can say it was still early in terms of you say as crypto industry as a whole. So not having a full-time experience, it was great to work under someone who has been in the space for about 5 years then.
Yeah.
And then interacting with him on a regular basis, you just learn a lot of different things, like how his mind works, which is truly mesmerizing. Like everything, how he thinks, what might work, and how he can be ahead in his own thought. And every time that things are spot on, is just a great learning experience, to be honest.
Yeah, also just curious, like, why, we of course, unfortunately, do not have Ian here as well, but also just curious if you guys know, like, what the vision and like of or like the mission of TokenMetrics is in general, because yeah, he of course thought of it to set it up and actually make a whole team around it to make the app and actually, yeah, give this technology to give the access of this technology to people. So yeah, maybe just curious to hear if you guys also know that from the side of, well, how it originally started.
I guess the mission of TokenMetrics, you would say, is that initially, of course, if you ask what is TokenMetrics, right, it's basically a crypto research analysis platform, right? So the main vision is that, definitely, to sum it up, it's to help new investors give an easier process. It's kind of like an introduction into cryptocurrency, because for someone back in the day, if they wanted to learn, it's kind of like learning from different places. You have to learn the technical analysis of it. You have to learn the fundamental analysis of it. You have to combine all these things to make accurate decisions in your investments and all this stuff. So the main vision is to be able to simplify that, bring it all into one place, and provide investors with all the knowledge they need for them to invest in the market themselves. So it's basically convenience. To be able to simplify the whole investment trading process for whatever level of investor you may be, whether you're just starting out cryptocurrency or whether you're already an intermediate or even a professional level, you are able to gain knowledge. You're able to use the tools that we have to simplify and to reduce the time you spend on doing it yourself. It's kind of like a saving time kind of platform. You can put it that way, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yes, if I'll have to just sum it up in a one-liner, like Ian's motto has always been like, make crypto accessible to everyone at every stage. That's just his vision, and that can be via everything that goes into TokenMetrics, via maybe new products, research, analytics platform. So, but everything and all the products, the motto has been just to make crypto accessible to new users and get them onboarded on this journey.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's great.
Sorry, I was still muted. But no, indeed, and I think with how you sum it up, it does show how it aligns with what we stand for at Reform as well. And I think that's you know, why I also feel the connection between Reform and TokenMetrics, where Reform is a market maker, does makes a lot of sense, right? As a market maker, we try to work with projects where we do align with, where we do feel like, hey, you're in the right mind space on what you're trying to build for the space. You know, making crypto accessible for everyone. Reform stands all for transparency and accessibility. So I think that's something that we saw when we started this journey together, and why it got off on the right foot directly, I would say. So to very quickly summarize, Roshan, you're responsible for the marketing, and Ayush, you're responsible for the development side, I would say, more, right? Or what's like the okay, just to keep it very clear for everyone, right? I always like to keep things simple as well. All right, very interesting. And I guess, you know, it's the question is not just when, but I guess more importantly, why TokenMetrics was created. And I think you already answered that slightly. But so I think TokenMetrics was originated quite a long time ago already, right? It was like 2018, what you just mentioned, 2017?
2019.
2019, there we go. Okay, so besides what you just explained, right, making crypto accessible, etc., like what was that the core reason for Ian to start TokenMetrics that you know about? Like, was that the reason? Like, hey, you know, what was the problem statements? Let's put it that way.
Okay, so let's say back in 2019, 2020, I would definitely say that crypto wasn't as big as it is right now, right? So Ian definitely kind of knew that working into this space and kind of developing this for the space could be good for the long term, because he only saw crypto growing from then on. And which is true, because compared to 2019, compared to how it is right now, we have so much more adoption. We even have institutional adoption that never happened back in 2020. It was just fully mostly retail. And I think honestly, there's no stopping crypto from actually growing way bigger than it is right now. It's just going to continue growing. So have TokenMetrics in place, it builds a foundation for anyone that is daily coming into the crypto space, because for it to grow, there's going to be way more new people joining the space from time to time. Not everybody is honestly even aware of, I can say, crypto right now. There's probably thousands or even millions of people that are not even in the space. They don't even know about crypto properly, and they soon will know about crypto. They soon will come into the space, and having that in mind, TokenMetrics is the foundation for that. So that when they come and step into the space, where do they step on? What do they do? Where do they start? And that is the main reason that we have all these things in place, because it kind of covers a holistic kind of view, right? So it's not just, all right, looking at the charts in terms of analysis, and then you don't understand what's going on in the background, right? You don't understand what projects are doing, understanding about projects itself, and having research done on those things. Now, that is where we also have research done on those platforms. And like Ayush has mentioned earlier, he's one of the people in charge of finding out new projects, researching them, and then publishing them on our site. So not only do you research projects that you already know, right? Looking at technicals, looking at the analysis that we have on our platform, you also get information onto new projects coming up. And they're not just going to be, okay, there's a new project, this is the name, this is what it does. No, it's what it does, how good are they, and kind of rating them in terms of all the different aspects that they are built upon. So those are the things that we want to provide. We want to provide that simplicity to people, so that when you enter the space, you're not bombarded or with so many different things for you to learn, or just have a weight on your head, like, okay, where do I start, what do I do? But instead, all of it kind of summarized in one place for you to guide your way through.
Yeah, super interesting. And I mean, you mentioned that, of course, this is now also researched by researchers, traders, quants, but I guess from what I understood, TokenMetrics is mostly aiming to combine, I guess, AI and machine learning with these, human expertise to provide. And does it then become scalable? Because I can imagine there's only so much you can do in a day as a person in terms of research. So there's only so much you can provide to people through your platform. But by utilizing AI, is that allowing you to scale this and really cover the entire market in that way, or?
Like that's where it came from, like, to be honest. Like, AI helps you do things at a much rapid pace than a human mind can do. AI can work in timelessly. It doesn't need to stop. And to like right now, if we see Pom.fund, like 50,000 coins are being launched every day, right? So right now there are 5,000 coins, good coins to be sure, which needs to be tracked. For a human to track this, it's very difficult. You need some assistance, and that's where the intersection between crypto and AI or at TokenMetrics come into play. So what it was basically was like the idea is not to just provide insights. Like we believe that the main thing is for us to is to provide actionable insights, and that is where we think we want to differ from other platforms as well. Is here when you come a user comes onto TokenMetrics, the AI comes, they know, they analyze the coins, so the AI takes into consideration around different data points which are both fundamental and at the same time technical into perspective, right? To analyze a project on all these metrics, the AI comes and use all these data points and come to a like the trader grades, which are the key metrics for our platforms on which we evaluate the projects inside. So we have trader grades, trading signals, investor grades. So these are just all these encapsulated data points which have entirely the AI works on and create these. And these are just by using these metrics, an investor or anyone can come and utilize them to make their key investment decisions. So AI does help us to make this scalable at that point, at that rate, as you mentioned, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so basically the information that you provide on the platform helps people to understand where they can invest, or at least let them get a better understanding of why it could be a good investment to get involved in some sort of a project. Do you guys also provide the opportunity for them to directly invest, or to I don't know, like, do you offer some sort of service for that? Do you work together with exchanges, or maybe some bot that allows them to buy or sell or snipe or whatever? Or is it really just the research that is provided and they need to act on their own?
So basically, like now, very good point that you brought it up. So over the last year, TokenMetrics has been going from a transition. Earlier, it was a Web 2.5 company, as you can say, although it was dealing into analyzing cryptocurrencies, but there was not a Web 3 model which was already there established. So we are going into that transition right now from a Web 2.5 model to a Web 3 model. So earlier, a user when on our platforms were able to just come and utilize these metrics and see, okay, our trader grade says buy this strong, buy this coin. The trader grade is 95%. It has the token value has increased by 20%. It is the signal has just turned from bearish to bullish. So these are insights which a user, a trader can use to go and place a trade. But earlier, the user needed to go outside a platform to go and buy these coins. But this is one of the new products which is pipelined right now. We have made some integrations with some key industry projects like Privy and Li-Fi to bring this on-chain trading features on our platform now. And this is scheduled to be live in Q1 this year itself. It's currently in testing phases. So this is one of the major upgrades as well that we are thinking of bringing at TokenMetrics. So the user just does not get the analytics on our website, but also get to trade and buy those tokens at the same time.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, my next question was, are there any new features or key milestones coming up in the next few months? So we kind of covered that one already. That's super interesting. And I mean, Jess, at least from my side, I directly start thinking about, hey, this could be a super interesting integration for Luigi, right? Like imagine the research of TMAI. So for you guys, I don't know if you knew that already, but we have launched our own AI agent as well called Luigi. We are right now in the alpha version of our AI bot, or sorry, our Luigi bot, which is a bot on Telegram that allows you to do direct buy, sell, snipe, copy trade, etc. And we have a function that's actually, I'm super bullish about it, but that's really because we bring the market making tools to the individual. It allows people to set a grid, and the bot will automatically buy and sell within that grid, driving profits, of course. Now, the hard thing is, where do you put the grid? How do you know where to put the grid, right? And that's where I feel like, oh, wow, with the research of TokenMetrics, you could actually, like, I don't know, just interesting conversation for a later moment. But we'd love to see if there could be like a specific research that allows people to understand where to put the grid and why it's interesting to do that right now, because token X is going to be super volatile due to blah, 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 which you find out in your market research. So that's it's super interesting. But it also shows how scalable TokenMetrics is as a company, right? Because you can integrate it in so many different ways. So that's, I think, very interesting. I mean, with that said, you also, of course, have your own token, the TMAI token, which the TokenMetrics AI token. How does that play a role within the entire ecosystem? Like, how maybe you can dive us, walk us through that part. Dive into the utilities of the token. How does it work within the ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So also, like, I'll also just go back to the question that you mentioned about what are the upcoming features on the platform as well. So as I mentioned, the trading feature, that is just one of the features, to be honest, like that we are building. And as you mentioned that there is a bot, that Luigi bot that you guys have launched, we at TokenMetrics itself have our own TMAI bot that you see in our backgrounds, this little guy, this cute little guy, he's the agent of TokenMetrics. So this is also a sample of how it leverages our data and other data from other sources as well, but mainly data which TokenMetrics provides and provides insights. So this just went live a week before, if I'm right. So
Yeah.
that was also one of the milestones in our product roadmap. Then, of course, the trading features itself. At the same time, we also have some things called trading agents. Basically, these will be able to perform some key trading aspects. Like, one of the unique features on our platforms is also called indices, where we create a basket of crypto tokens based on their token rates. So a user can just get, okay, want to allocate my 100% of portfolio into these 6 tokens, and what should be the size of each of these tokens. So that is what our indices also provides. And we will bring these trading agents using which a user can directly invest in that agents, and they will manage a portfolio. So that is also one of the exciting features that we are building up.
Cool.
And yeah, to answer your second question of how what role the TMAI token takes place in our ecosystem. So TMAI is like the main pillar according which the transition from Web 2.5 to Web 3 is happening at TokenMetrics. Like the TMAI token will be around every of these things. So the TMAI token follows a vote escrowed model. So basically, users can lock and stake their tokens for any amount of period and get V TMAI tokens on that exchange. And then this token will have several use cases, like the all TokenMetrics has registered its own DAO, which will operate all the handlings of the project itself. So the staking and the governance features also goes live next month. That is as scheduled. It's currently under testing. Then what other features would be as well, that we will have a revenue share model. So every revenue that TokenMetrics generates, maybe it's either from trading fees, maybe it's from subscription models, maybe it's from any other platforms that we launch. All of these revenue will be shared back to the community. At the same time, it will also of it will also go back to buyback and burn. That will be another one of the use cases. And also one other use case that we are planning is, it's a feature which is still in development. I'll just give not much details about it. It's like we also plan to launch a launchpad kind of thing for our users and for the community to come and launch projects. And the allocations for our users, for our community, will also be kind of dependent upon their staked and logged amount of TMAI tokens. So that will be also a major role that the TMAI token itself will take place into. So yeah, these would be the major roles. Along with it, there will be some small use cases like trading fee discounts, referral discounts, and everything which will also take place around the TMAI token itself.
Yeah, super interesting. I mean, a lot of functions that you expect from a token, but indeed a cohesive, complete package, I would say. Jess, I 200 times more experience when it comes to tokenomics, trading, and all that stuff compared to me. If you hear this, do specific questions come to mind, or specific, the interest, or are you excited by some of the features that they have specifically? Like,
I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is that it's like really a utility project, right? So as you also said, Aush, it's really unfortunate over the last 1-2 years, like the market has been dominated by meme coins that or tokens that have no value whatsoever behind it. So I think that's will change eventually again, whenever everything that is not providing any value is flushed out. So I think that's especially with TokenMetrics, you guys are building since 2019. You're building a robust platform where people can actually use features and not just a Fugazi or whatever you have in the market these days. whereby also, revenue will be generated, and which will then be shared with the customers or with the people that hold the token, I mean, in combination with, of course, the buys and the burns, the buybacks and the burns. That's, of course, a lot of token appreciation value. Just a thing that comes to mind for me, for example, is like, people are going to hold the token because they have like utility things in place. But are there also mechanisms, because you say you have, for example, staking? So people will stake the token, but how do you see, for example, now the revenue in comparison to, let's say, the staking that you're giving away? Is that like, still attracting a lot of people, because that's, of course, one of the main features of staking, attracting new people and actually making them lock the token to actually have like sort of deflationary for a period of time? Or do you see like, the revenue is exceeding like the stake rewards that we're currently giving out? Just curious, from my point of view, as you said, from a TokenMetrics point of view, just to see how that's situated.
Yeah. So basically, right now, initiation will be from staking. Then with revenue share would come basically from the point of view that right now we have a kind of a subscription-based model, right? That is how we generate most of the revenue, and that gets generated. I guess over time we might also take a shift in that from instead of a subscription model, we transition as a revenue model itself, and that brings more revenue into the company and therefore more value to the stakers itself. Like people, and this revenue share among the community will itself be based upon how much amount of the tokens that they have staked, right? It will be based upon how active a user believes in the vision of TokenMetrics, and they will get the rewards of it at the same time. So that is how both of them will be linked together. So I don't think so it will be either staking or revenue share that a user would choose, but at the same time, the benefits will be interlinked with each other completely.
Exactly. Okay. Follow-up question based on that is also like, are there a lot of subscribers already on the platform? Just curious to see here.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about the numbers as of now, but we last I checked. Roshan, do you have the latest numbers with you?
It was roughly about 150,000 subscribers to.
Okay, and that's all paid subscribers, or is it like people that signed up for the platform?
There's a mix of paid subscribers and also people signed up for the platform.
Okay, nice. Well, congrats, guys. It's a huge number.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, indeed, that's massive. And guys, just to get a little bit of an overview for the people watching, I'm checking on my phone what's going on with the broadcast. We crossed over 20,000 people that clicked on the broadcast and watched for a single moment. So things are going in the right direction. I would love to get these people a little bit of information about the TMAI token, right? So we have explained what it is for, but now how can people get their hands on the token? So first off, you launched already a long time ago. When you initially launched, where did you launch? Was that only decentralized, or did you launch on exchanges already, or do you know this even? I mean, I'm not sure if you guys were around by that time, but and then a follow-up to that would be, where along the years that followed, where did you list the token on any other exchanges, and where is it available today?
Okay, so we do have it on 2 decentralized exchanges, right? We have on Uniswap as well as Aerodrome. Now, as we launched, we did launch on an exchanges. We launched on Maxi. And then right after that, we also launched on Gate.io. So right now, these are the 4 platforms that you can go and get your hands on TMAI token as well. But if you're looking at what's to come, we can't make any promises on what exchanges are definitely coming up. But what we do want to focus on right now is there are exchanges in the pipeline, but right now in the first quarter itself, there are a lot of launches coming up. Launches that are going to increase the utility of the token itself. So the whole team has kind of been focused on developing this and focusing on this so that by the time we get onto the next exchanger, everything that provides utility for a token or the full package is kind of already available to users, right? Right now, there are still few things coming up, like what Aush has been mentioning, like the trading and trading on TokenMetrics and all these staking things. These are the things that are going to provide more value to the token and why people would actually want to buy the token. So before we have our 3rd, 4th, 5th exchanger, we would want to focus on this in the first quarter as well as launches on the second quarter. And hopefully this year definitely would be having it on another exchanger. But for now, these are the 4 places you can get your hands on for TMAI. 2 decentralized exchanges and 2 centralized exchanges.
Nice.
If I'm not wrong, Sorry,
Sorry,
I
go
guess
ahead.
there was one more centralized exchange, like Bitpanda, the European exchange. I guess we listed there as well. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Bitpanda,
nice one actually.
that's
Yeah,
a,
that's
that's a broker, right?
Yeah, it's actually a nice
believe-
one for like the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. Since you also mentioned, you guys pivoting from the Web 2.5 to 3. I think it's really solid, having something like Bitpanda with a huge user base, like Web 2 native. Yeah, that's of course. But in general, yeah, Bitpanda is funneling liquidity from Gate. But I think that's only beneficial for your volumes on the Gate exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the good thing is when I look at the token on, for example, CoinMarketCap, I can see indeed it's listed on Maxi and Gate. The depth, everything, the spread, it looks amazing. You have a very, very good market maker, I can already see. So we'll dive all into that in a bit. But indeed, that's it's good to know that, because with that said, I would love to take it a little bit to the next part of this discussion, where I always like to focus a little bit more on Jess. Jess is, of course, a core contributor, I would say co-founder, head of marketing, head of trading, head of business development. Jess is a guy that does a lot, but he's also responsible for the projects where we do the market making. And I always like to get a little bit of insight from his perspective on, what do we do as Reform, as a market maker for a project like TokenMetrics? And why is it so important for a project like TokenMetrics to have a market maker that aligns, the incentives of the project with their own? And maybe we can start with, when did we officially start doing the market making for TokenMetrics? Because that wasn't this week. That's been going on for a while already, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've been working now together for, I think, 3 months or 2 or 3 months, actually since inception. So when the TGE occurred of TokenMetrics, when the listings occurred, we were one of the market makers. And yeah, actually since start, of course, there was just walking through, so to say, the life cycle of what happened, because there was quite some, I would say, fluctuation in the token, which is very interesting to see, but also bound to, of course, specific events that we anticipated, or what we together anticipated, of course, on what was arranged. So initially, of course, you saw that TokenMetrics launched was very robust. Like, we thought, okay, it's very interesting. Of course, the airdrop happened, which I think is actually a very good thing, because that meant that there was quite a big, market cap. The market cap to FTV ratio, to fully diluted valuation ratio, was actually quite good after that airdrop happened. And we think, in the current market environment, a lot of people are actually looking at that. So they're looking at, what is your market cap and what is your fully diluted valuation? If that's too far out of each other, then there's still a lot of inflation coming. Of course, people need to understand where's the inflation coming from, but a lot of people are not taking the effort to actually, figure out where it's coming from. Well, now with TokenMetrics platform, you can see it in the blink of an eye. So be sure to check it out. Now, but I think, after that, the airdrop happened. So we saw also, that influenced price, of course, because a lot of people were in a profit. But after that, it stabilized. And I think that's really what was also, for me, very interesting to see. As actually it stabilized, even though, people still got a free airdrop, but the price stabilized. Like the airdrops, the people that got the free airdrop were out, or they held the tokens. And then actually, the price started to move, and which is very interesting when we talked about Bitpanda just so. That was one of the catalysts actually that had a very positive price influence, I would say, because a lot of Web2 people, it was also in the middle of the hype of like AI agents. You guys, of course, launched with your AI agent and like the whole AI platform, so that was fully aligned with with the current market sentiment at the time. So I think that's all. It had a very positive effect, and now we just see like prices going sideways, but also going down a bit because people are taking profit, which is of course logical, especially when price went as crazy as it was when you guys listed on Bitpanda. So I think that was actually a little bit of the journey of how we actually also participate with Reform. Of course, along this whole journey, we've been providing liquidity as good as we can, and we saw a lot of momentum, as I said, with Bitpanda. So we also had to provide a lot of liquidity at that moment. It was also for us. We were a full day busy with, well, one of the traders was a full day busy with TMAI. Well, normally it's managing, of course, different projects at the same time because there's, on a normal day, not a lot happening. But on this day especially, there was a lot happening because, the market was quite volatile and a lot of volume. So we had to jump in as a market maker for sure. And focus on the TokenMetrics. So I think that was a little bit of the journey from like 2-3 months ago, as I mentioned, from the launch up until now. And I think we're very eager to keep working with you guys and to really see what's coming ahead. To prepare for the upcoming features, prepare for upcoming other events, to really make sure that the market is robust and liquid enough for everyone to buy the token, but eventually, when someone wants to take profit, also to be able to take the profits. So that's what we're here for. Make everyone's experience a lot better, especially when it comes to trading.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think it shows, right, with so many key moments coming up for a project like TokenMetrics in the next few months. Roshan and Aush already explained there's so many new products launching in the coming weeks and months. Those can all be catalysts for, of course, a lot of trade volume on the token, a lot of interest on the token. So it's in that way very important to have one or multiple market makers that are aligned with what you're doing and make sure that they're ready to provide the right liquidity that's required in those moments to make sure your token stays healthy and tradable at the same time. So I think that's definitely a key thing as a market maker to emphasize on. But Jess, I'm also curious. You've been watching the algorithms work the magic on TokenMetrics. You already mentioned some key insights, like, hey, they had the airdrop. Obviously, there was some sell pressure from the airdrop. That's more than normal. But you also said that it didn't really dive too far down. There wasn't too much selling pressure compared to what you have seen with other projects, for example. Do you think you know what made that happen? Is it really people holding on their tokens because they believe in the project, or and if you don't know, then obviously I would like to get that question to Roshan. Like, hey, how have you experienced that from the project side besides what we can see?
Paul just wants to get insights on the marketing side, how to actually make sure that. No. I think from my side, very to put it very briefly, I think when an airdrop happens, people are willing to sell up until a specific moment that price starts to stabilize again, and at that point, people who are holding, they're just holding on because they think like, I got this token for free, so I'm not willing to sell at this point, so they will wait for a higher point anyway. And then when actually, the people that sold, they are already out. So I think it always has like the biggest impact at the moment that it's distributed. And then when that happens, the people that want to sell, they sell. The people that want to keep it, they keep it, and they wait for a higher price. And that, creates at one point the floor. And then when that starts to, consolidate and make the floor, then after that, you come with the project announcements and like with all the valid content that you guys put out, plus then the broker listing on Bitpanda with everything around it. I think that's ensured like a very healthy move upwards after, of course, the consolidation from the airdrop sellers. So I think that was logic thinking from my side. We saw it, of course, in volume because you see a lot of volume whenever the airdrop occurs. Then you see the token launch. Then you see a lot of volume. Then the airdrop occurs. You see a lot of selling. First, you see a lot of buying volume. Then you see a lot of selling volume. But then you see actually the consolidation. The volume actually settles down a bit, and it's cools off or cools down. And then actually, the next wave comes with, as I said, the new features and like the Bitpanda launch, and then you see that increasing again with a lot of buying volume. So I think that's how we anticipated it, and also I think what caused it is that the sellers are out, and that the people that want to hold it, they just hold it, and that's I think how it went for you guys, which was actually quite. I would say it was a very good experience. Let's put it like that from our side.
Yeah, I always love to hear when Jess starts his sentence with, "Let me explain it very shortly," because then I already know it's gonna be like 4 or 5 minutes, No, but
excuse me.
No, all good, man. I like that. That's only good. But Roshan, I would love to see how have you experienced that from the project side, right? Because we only see that from a market making side, from the data that we have, but I can imagine. I mean, if I'm in your shoes as a market head of Reform, but I can imagine it's also a stressful moment when you do your airdrop and you see a lot of people selling at the same time, because obviously they want to make their money. and you know, you still hope somewhere like, oh, nobody will sell because they love our project, which obviously is not the case with any airdrop ever. But I do think, you know, as we mentioned, there was quite a lot of people that didn't sell, and quite a lot of people that probably hold on to their airdrop. How have you guys experienced that from a project side?
Okay, so like I think just mentioned it, it's like a lot of people in the crypto space, when they take part in an airdrop, their first thing is, okay, wait till TGE. Once the coin pumps, you know, I'm going to sell and make my money. I guess, of course, that's the case in a lot of situations, and that happened as well. But there's also a community of people that have been following us from the time we started, right? 2019, 2020, these people have been following TokenMetrics. And to be honest, we have had developments in the past, but this has been one of the biggest change that we are going through, right? The biggest shift in our whole project itself. So having a token come out, having the AI agent, having all of these different features coming up that we never had on TokenMetrics, because it was purely just an investment analytics platform. Now we're able to actually trade on it. There's a lot of things coming up with it. There is people that are holding on to their tokens because they know that, okay, we've been with TokenMetrics for a while now. This is the biggest change we have seen, and we definitely anticipate way more utility coming for the token. We anticipate way more attention coming for the token. And yes, as well, is because right now, when a token immediately gets launched, it's the paper hands that, you know, sell first, and it slowly goes into the people who buys it and holds on to it. And since the staking feature is definitely coming up as well, that is something they are definitely hoping on to, because like Ayush mentioned, the more you stake, of course, there's different levels to it. So because of that, you want to actually be able to stake your tokens to enjoy its benefits. If not, you're just kind of going to miss out on it. So instead of just selling your tokens that you already have, might as well you just wait on to it, use those tokens to get the benefits on our platform. So definitely there is a lot of people that sold during TGE to get their profits out, but there's also the redistribution from those people who instantly sold for profit to people who really believed in the project and are still believing in the project and waiting for it to play out. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that makes a lot of sense. And just as a final note from the market making side, as a market maker, we of course ensure that there's enough liquidity. We do so by providing, I guess, enough spread and depth into the token. But maybe can you talk us once again? We did that on the first broadcast. Can you talk us once again through that process? Like, why is it so important that we make sure that the spread, for example, is big enough? And then things like this. For, you know, there's a lot of people watching us right now. Maybe a lot of people don't know about these things. Especially why it's important. I guess it's important if you are a trader to also know this in general, because if you see a project that has a very, you know, small spread and that way, or depth, I always mix those two up, but and in that way, so basically not a very strong liquidity, I guess, it might not be a strong investment for you to make, or a very interesting opportunity. But yeah, maybe you can talk us through that a little bit. And I'd love to know from Ayush afterwards if you see that in a different way or something. I don't know. I'm just curious because you're more on the dev side. But Jess, first you can.
Sure. I think, you know, key elements with market making are actually as you said, the depth, the spread, but also the inventory. So there's like those three factors actually determine, like, you know, you can run different strategies, momentum based, or just liquidity providing based, or mean reversion. Like all sorts of algorithms are available or are possible. But in general, it's about these 3 points that you also highlighted yourself. So the first one actually is the depth. So exchanges have a specific requirement. They want you to have a specific amount of depth in the order book, plus 2%, minus 2%. We're actually the ones providing that to make sure that whenever there's not enough organic liquidity in the order book, that we will make sure that it's there and that people are able to trade and have a good experience. Then actually next part is spread, because that's also really bound to the depth. Because when the spread is too broad, it actually means that people are, let's say, the buy and the sell price are very far ahead from each other, the first buy and the first sell price. And that actually means that if that's different on another exchange, that someone else can actually arbitrage the value between, let's say, those spreads. And when people actually buy then on one exchange for like 5% higher or something, when the spread is 5%, which is quite, you know, big, then actually, it means that if on the other exchange it's 0.1, then you can arbitrage that, you know, very, very effectively. Let's put it like that, as the party that's arbitraging. But for the people, it's not the best experience because you just buy 5% for a 5% higher price than somewhere else, which is, yeah, not very efficient. So that's another part to it. And then actually the inventory, I think that's more on the, I would say, market making side. For us, that's really important to manage because, yeah, whenever price starts to, you need to maintain an inventory always to put like buys and to put sells in the order book. So yeah, we actually have tokens from TokenMetrics, but we also have the USDT from ourselves that we provide. And then actually you need to make sure that, yeah, this balance will always maintain. So yeah, you can never have the moment that you have no tokens anymore because, yeah, then, people are not able to buy because you do not put anything in the order book. And on the sell side, it's exactly the same. Well, the sell side for other people, because they want to sell, it needs to be USDT in the order book that actually will buy back those tokens. And yeah, whenever that depletes, yeah, then it's also not going to work anymore because there's no one who actually wants to buy if there are no organic buyers. So I think that's, yeah, the three core things that I would say are underlying to the overall, I would say, agreement and like the overall partnership that we have. But yeah, other than that, as I said, there is a lot of algorithms and different strategies that you can run to optimize like those three elements. And I think the main one there is actually inventory, to actually optimize that constantly to make sure that you have, both sides of the book to suffice for enough depth and also for enough spread, for a tight spread in the book. So yeah, I think that's I hope understandable for everyone. But yeah, that's exactly how it is. That's full living.
Yeah, I think that's the devil of our business, right? It's hard to understand and it's a difficult, very technical business, but it's so important because I heard you say that, I was like, man, it's actually weird that an exchange or exchanges in general are not already aligning themselves for this, right? Like why would an exchange allow such big differences between token prices? And then of course it comes all down to the fact that it's decentralized and they don't have anything to do with each other, and there's not like a law that makes them mandatory to do that.
In general, exchanges are also not allowed to do it. So it's like exchanges are purely providing the infrastructure for tokens to, for people to trade. Let's put it like that. But there needs to be an independent party, as in the traditional finance world, that actually does the market making on their exchange, because otherwise there could be a conflict of interest, and the exchange can manipulate the token, which I have to say still happens in crypto, of course, here and there. We see it also. We also know who. We're not going to put out names, but that's it's an interesting business to be in because you see all those things, what we discussed also as well, Paul, that are happening sort of behind closed doors that you would not notice if you're just on the market itself, buying and selling, and that's it. But whenever you're managing those different projects, but also doing liquidity provision on the exchange, you really notice that there's quite some interesting things going on behind the scenes. And I think that's something that we as Reform really are eager to dive into and actually solve, but also give a good experience to projects as a whole when it comes to market making.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a business that's behind closed doors, and I guess Reform is a solution to that. But I think in that way, that's what the market needs, and I guess that's also shown with TokenMetrics. It's shown with Reform. It's shown with a lot of the projects that we work with. Right? It's there's no longer room for doing things behind closed doors. There's no longer room to keep things only for a few. It's time for mass adoption. It's time for everyone to get access. It's time for everyone to understand what's happening. Otherwise, we can never get mass adoption. And I guess the few people that had access before, they had a few years to fill their bags, and now it's time to move over because. We're all here to change the market. So with that said, guys, I would like to ask you, is there anything else you wanna mention, you wanna state, you wanna give us as an alpha? You already gave a lot of input, of course, today, a lot of alpha, but any final words from your side, Roshan and Aush?
I think from me, it would be that to just look out for all the things that are coming up, because these times are the most transformative times for TokenMetrics, right? If you got a good look back what we're doing all this while and what is to come, it's a complete shift in what we're providing and what value we're providing. So look out for those things and be ready to utilize it to the best that you can, because these are going to be exciting times in cryptocurrency, and I'm pretty sure TMAI is going to be able to help you step up your game, especially in the crypto space.
Yeah. First of all, I'll say thanks to Jess for that market making 101. Like, it was really some deep insights on how market making goes. And yeah, I would just like to say, like, just for two things, like people in general who are not, who don't know much about crypto, learn about crypto. Definitely, it will be an exciting thing to learn about, at least about how the technology works, because it's really great and very interesting, and it will be a major part in the future. And TokenMetrics can definitely get you on board on it and give you some insights of how it does, as well as to our people who are in our community already and knows about TokenMetrics and who are already in the space. Do watch out for the new upcoming features. Try interacting with our our agent. Also, at the same time, look out for the staking platforms and the new upcoming features. And yeah, just hold on. It's going to be a good time for all of us building in this space.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here today. With that, I think we're hitting the end of the broadcast for today. I think we're closing in on 45,000 people that clicked on the broadcast at least once and watched for at least a little bit of time. I don't know how many people are live right now, but it's always nice to see the broadcast take up a lot of attention in the space. I think timing wise, it was good to do this actually early compared to when we normally do it, because it's I always can see on Twitter who is live right now, and there's not that much going on X. So a lot of people they see us popping up with a lot of people watching, so that's nice. Yeah, obviously a massive shout out to you guys, to the team at TokenMetrics for joining us today, for giving us an insight on what you've been building and on what you're planning to build in the future. Also, a massive shout out to you, Jess. Thanks for being here once again with me. Highlighting the market making side. I think that's of course key to this as well. And with that, guys, we're about to round off the broadcast. I want to do a massive shout out to everyone in the audience. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you thought it was super interesting. I hope you learned something about TokenMetrics. Hope you learned something about market making as well. We got the one-on-one from Jess here, so maybe that helped you understand a little bit better. And make sure you check out ReformDAO. Make sure you check out TokenMetrics. If you have any questions or any interest, we're always open to answer the questions that you might have. Make sure you give the guys a follow, and hopefully we'll see you all again next week. We're hosting these at the moment on a weekly pace. Might slow down, might speed up. We don't know what's happening, but there's a lot of project and market making in the space. And next week we'll be back again. You'll hear more about the timing, etc., and what projects will be involved next week. But there will be another broadcast. And with that said, guys, I want to thank you very much, and I wish you and the audience, and also Roshan, Aush, and Jess, a great rest of your day. And we'll see each other soon again.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Great, big shout out to you for hosting it again. As always, was a real pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us, and thank you so much, Jess, for this. I think it's been a great conversation so far, and I hope people now are way more aware of what we're doing and how is basically market making working as well. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having us.
Thanks, Paul, for being a lovely host. Yeah, it was a great session and nice talking to you all.
Thanks, gents. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.